If you are worried about Florida nursing home Medicaid eligibility and don't know if you can safely spend money, you're not allowed. As a Florida bar expert, elder law attorney, I've helped thousands of families navigate Medicaid's strict spend down rules. And in this video, I'll show you exactly what expenses qualify, which ones to avoid, and how to get it right the first time for a smoother approval process. Let's dive in. Okay, Medicaid spend down is all about the transfer of assets rule. And right now, I'm showing you right out of the playbook, right out of the legal rule book, the transfer of assets and income rule. And looking down here, this transfer occurs when an individual spouse, legally authorized representative, or joint owner does not receive fair compensation when disposing of an asset or decreasing the value or interest in the asset, or decreasing the value of the asset when it's going from included to excluded on whether or not it's countable. When you've given away assets for less than spent fair market value or spent it down on something improperly, then the rules say that the individual may be Medicaid ineligible for a specific period of time. So this is the rule directly from the rule book that we must be considerate of. So what does that all mean? Big idea is mom's money must be used for mom. Mom needs to get a benefit, and any kind of twisting that you do to when money, cash, real estate interest, meaning adding names on deeds, moving money from accounts, it's whenever mom's money leaves the account, the bank account, or mom's real estate leaves her sole name, that's when there is a spend down or transfer problem. So doing it correctly will preserve funds if nursing home care is required. Doing it incorrectly will cause you problems with Medicaid. So we want to do it right. So the next step is in this discussion is to get clarity on approved Medicaid spend down expenses. So if your loved one is directly facing a nursing home need, or it's off in the future, is the first part of the analysis. But I'm going to focus on direct nursing home need today. So if you are concerned about spend down, you're allowed to spend down on mom's money is used for mom. So you're allowed to spend on her medical bills, maybe her leftover assisted living cost, any unpaid medical expenses. If mom's house is still there, even if she's not living on it, as long as it's homestead, you can spend money on the house. Even if there needs to be an expensive foundation repair, 5 figures or more, or a new roof, 5 figures, or even renovations, $100,000. That's a valid spend down expense if the house is mom. Now, these little tricks need to be very careful about whose name's on which account, and that's where an elder law attorney should go through with you to make sure you're doing it right. Other common expenses are prepaid funeral and burial plans. If that hasn't been decided, because no one likes to talk about it, now's a good time to talk about it because it's relevant to spend down. So if you spent down solely on skilled nursing care and hit zero and have not prepaid the funeral, guess who's going to pay the funeral or have their ashes spread? So there's no money, and we're looking at spending $10,000 to $20,000 on a burial, then the family has to come up with that $10,000 to $20,000 if you haven't done spend down correctly beforehand and planned ahead of time. So legal fees and professional fees related to Medicaid planning is valid spend down. If you're doing it correctly, then you're working with an elder law attorney who represents your elderly parent. We are helping the elderly parent. We're not helping you for you. We're working with you to help your elderly parent in need. So our legal fees and our representation as an elder law attorney is with your elderly parent. And last, approved spend down strategies is any kind of valid legal strategy that will be discussed with you. And I've discussed in other videos, or will discuss in other videos, which are personal service contract, pooled trust, converting to income producing rental property. There's many other little nuanced valid transfers, and that's what you get out of working with an elder law attorney versus a general planner. What you cannot spend money on, and what you should not and cannot spend money on, the big idea, just like I said, mom's money can be used for mom. You say, great, this is for mom, and you feel like you're twisting. You feel like you're coming up with some contrived or made up reason why this benefits mom. If you feel like you're making it up or the benefit to your mom is not clear and direct, then you are risking on Spenddown. And so that's why I wouldn't recommend, when you're dealing with deeds, changing deeds for Medicaid reasons, that is clear public record that will get caught. Moving money around, clear or taking out cash, that's just causing you more problems. If you take out $5,000 worth of cash, that gives the government the ability to say what was done with that cash. If you can't give detailed explanation, you're going to have big problems. Or if you say I made it disappear, that's just saying you've given it away. And that's what, according to that rule I read at the beginning, is a transfer of assets. Now, for the people who don't try to play games with it, sometimes we don't even know about these rules until you hit this video or any of the research you've done to reach this video. And then you're feeling like, oh my gosh, did I do something wrong? It depends on the extent of the gifting, the transfers, and whether it can be remedied. Some of us will drive down the highway and see speed limit signs 70. I can guarantee you, after driving up and down 75 and 95, that not everyone's going 70. People are going more than 70. So the police officer, 70 is the speed limit, 70 is the rule. The police officer is there to decide who gets a ticket and who doesn't get a ticket. And that's in that police officer's judgment, because if you're going 71, you're over the speed limit. And if they decide, hey, we're not going to pull you over, we're looking for the guy going 81, then that's who gets the ticket. So ultimately, when you're moving money for Medicaid reasons, the government caseworker for Medicaid is just like that police officer. They're the ones to look at what you did and is it going to be a problem? And if they see you playing games on Spenddown, you're going to have a problem. And to the extent the games were played, that's who's going to get the ticket. And that's under the rules who will get that delay in Medicaid coverage. All right. So now we know what to do, what not to do. Hey, what's the best way to cover a smart Spenddown? So every expense record needs to be kept, including the most common thing is paying caregivers. Because if the government caseworker says, we don't like what you did, essentially you're going into the world of the TV court shows, Judge Judy, all those types of court shows. The whole argument on most of these cases is it was a gift, not a loan. It was a loan. I expect to get paid back. It was reimbursement for expenses. It was, I paid you to do this for me. It was a gift. All those explanations that people say, they'll say things, but it's the paper that backs it up. What does the check say? What does the invoice say? What does the contract say? How did the parties actually behave once we have this document? It's how was the money spent? Whose account, for where to where? Why? So every type of Spenddown item that you've done in the past 5 years could be fair game, depending on the caseworker. So keeping very organized records and reasons why is critical and important. Now, it's high-level bookkeeping, basically. And if you've already made some transfers and moved money and it looks dodgy, you need to talk to an elder law attorney who's experienced in dealing with Medicaid to avoid those penalties that I cited in the rule, and figure out what's the best way to approach the penalty on a Spenddown that's less than ideal. Now, if you're sitting and looking at $80,000 and saying, how do I best protect this $80,000? What are the good reasons that we can transfer? What are the allowed reasons we transfer? That's what working with an elder law attorney does, is helps you organize and document those clearly, consistent with the rules, so that you can get a maximum benefit without jeopardizing eligibility. Now, if you have any more questions about nursing homes and Medicaid Spenddown, I got plenty of videos for you to work through about all the little Medicaid rules. Thanks for watching.